President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Sunday to respond to former President Barack Obama's criticisms of the White House's handling of the Wuhan virus. According to the former president, Trump's response to the Wuhan virus has been anemic and spotty because Americans have become selfish and we're being tribal, being divided. Obama said in a leaked audio recording, "It would have been bad even with the best of governments. It has been an absolute chaotic disaster when that mindset of what's in it for me and to heck with everybody else, when that mindset is operationalized in our government." President Trump said the White House has been taking the Wuhan virus seriously since the very onset, as evidenced by his early ban on travel from China at the end of January. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, has credited Trump's decision with the relatively low infection rate in the United States. President Trump tweeted, "We are getting great marks for the handling of this global crisis, especially the very early ban of people from China, the infectious source, entering the USA. Compare that to the Obama and Sleepy Joe disaster. Poor marks, bad polls, didn't have a clue." Trump also reminded Americans that the administration has continually sent personal protective equipment, including masks and gloves, to health care personnel across the country. Maybe President Obama should do his due diligence and review the Trump administration's timeline of decisions and events that have taken place throughout this pandemic. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin warned Sunday of permanent damage to the economy without a reopening, arguing that restrictions on businesses can be lifted without a significant risk to public health from the novel Wuhan virus. Mr. Mnuchin on Fox News Sunday said, "If we do this carefully, working with the governors, I don't think there's a considerable risk. Matter of fact, I think there's a considerable risk of not reopening. You're talking about what would be permanent economic damage to the American public." Mr. Mnuchin's comments came in response to a warning last week from Patrick Harker, president of the Philadelphia Federal Reserve Bank, who said reopening too soon could fuel a spike in cases that would prompt another round of devastating shutdowns. "We're going to reopen in a very thoughtful way to get people back to work safely that has them social distanced," Mr. Mnuchin insisted. He said that the jobless rate would likely continue to decline before bouncing back, echoing comments made Sunday by White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett, who said unemployment could soar over 20% in May or June before a recovery in the second half of 2020. The unemployment rate hit 14.7% in April, a figure that does not include the 7 million who have since lost jobs, meaning the actual unemployment figure could already be well over 20%. Mr. Mnuchin told host Chris Wallace, "You are correct, the reported numbers are probably going to get worse before they get better, but that is why we are focused on rebuilding this economy. We'll have a better third quarter, we'll have a better fourth quarter, and next year is going to be a great year." He emphasized that the economic damage was caused by the novel Wuhan virus and ensuing public health shutdowns, as opposed to the factors that drove the Great Depression. Mr. Mnuchin said, "Unlike the Great Depression, where you had economic issues that led to this, we closed down the economy. So it wouldn't be a surprise if you closed down the economy that in half of the workforces half the people didn't work. That's why we're very focused on rebuilding this economy and getting it where it was."